What's up, guys? This is Sid with svtperformance.com, and this is going to be our last video with this 2021 F-150 PowerBoost model. It's actually a Lariat and has the PowerBoost option. And this one, I'm basically just going to go over some favorite and least favorite features and tell you who I think the actual customer for this truck actually should be. The person I think that would actually get the most use out of its features. First and foremost, my favorite thing, and really the biggest thing with the PowerBoost F-150, is this panel in the back with this nice 30 amp plug and the onboard generator, 7,200 watts of power to power whatever you need. The battery, onboard battery, can power the generator plug, or the engine itself can produce the power. And if you've got a big draw, it is going to come off the engine, as we shown at the drag strip when we had this thing charging the Mach-E that we had out there as well. Did a great job at that, and it was using that onboard generator feature to its full capabilities. To me, that is why you would buy this truck, is to be able to power something like that, because along with that comes one of the downsides that I see to this truck. And let's skip under the hood so I can show you that. So one of the downsides has to be the massive complexity that this truck has. There's a lot of stuff going on under the hood here. As you can see, you got your regular EcoBoost engine, 3.5 EcoBoost, but you've got all these different power modules and everything, and there's just a lot of stuff crammed in here. Got a whole extra cooling system, not to mention everything underneath the truck. There's just a lot going on, and you know, the more complex you make the plumbing, the easier it is to clog the pipes. That's just common sense, and that's one of the downsides of this. Yes, you're getting a ton of usability and great features, but it comes at a cost. And that's just one of the little downsides I see to it. The other thing that I really like about this is the all-new digital dash and the center stack that the 2021 F-150s have. Got this thing running because it's really hot outside today. Door ajar, hood ajar, everything ajar. As you can see, it's got a full digital dash, which is really nice. It reminds me of like a Holley Terminator EFI. We've had it in the Mustang for a while, but this version of it is much nicer than the S550 Mustang version. And of course, you get this massive screen here in the center, and what I consider Ford's best HVAC controls. I really like these. They came out of the Expedition. You got your temperature readings here on the dials and everything. I like the way this is laid out with the air-conditioned seats, heated seats, steering wheel buttons, everything nicely labeled, easy to use, and you can do it from memory instead of if you had all this just on the screen. It gets tough to make changes to the climate controls on the fly without taking your eyes off the road. One other thing that I really didn't like, though, is not this feature. I actually like that the shifter folds down and this work tray folds out, but it's what's attached to this, and that's the 10R80 transmission, which is great except for the 1.3 skip shift that this thing has in normal driving mode is atrocious. Ford should be, I can't believe they let this thing leave the factory with that 1.3 skip shift. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to get better fuel economy, and that's admirable, but that skip shift is so bad, it's embarrassing. And every truck I've driven from Ford that has that 10R80 transmission has that issue, and I just can't believe that they haven't tuned that out or found a better way to do it. I mean, it seriously cannot be saving that much fuel economy, and it's a huge pain. But the thing is, it's even more pronounced on this truck because with the hybrid mode, a lot of times you'll be pulling out of a parking lot or a neighborhood or something like that, and you'll be in full electric mode. And right about when you hit 10 miles an hour, that's when it wants to do that 1.3 skip shift. It'll also start the engine, so it's even more noticeable on this truck. I think they just need to go back to the drawing board on that tune strategy, that shift strategy in the tune, and fix that. Speaking of the hybrid mode and kicking in, sitting here with the air conditioning running, it was running on the battery, and now it's kicked the engine up to 1500 RPMs to recharge the battery, because it'll sit here and run. Oh look, the vehicle's going to shut off. No, we don't want to do that. We want to override this. It's been drawing from the battery to run the climate control system. Now it's recharging the battery, so it'll run the engine at 1500 RPMs to just top the battery bank off. On the plus side is all the gadgets you get with this truck. I mean, you've got a power fold tailgate, and that's actually this button. You've got cameras everywhere, cameras in the bed, the mirrors on the side. There's just a lot of gadgets to play with in this truck. All the charging points, the forward camera displays, everything. All this stuff is very nice, works very well, and it just adds to the enjoyment of a truck. And for a truck with a $68,000 sticker price like this one, it should have a lot of gadgets and toys, and it does, and they all work very well. I keep this sunroof closed because I'm not a huge fan of these, but if you like a glass roof, it has that too. On the downside, this is a $68,000 truck, and in my opinion, these plastic controls are too chintzy for this. They had a really nice opportunity. This stuff looks really good, but all of these control knobs are just plastic. If this was billet aluminum, that would be, I mean, it doesn't even have to be billet. If it was just cast aluminum, that would be very nice if these were metal. Now, I get why Ford and other manufacturers don't make knobs and control buttons and things like that out of metal so much, because they get super hot in the summer, and that's anybody who's owned a bullet with the metal shift knob, the older bullets, you'll know that what a pain that can be is to come in and grab that shift knob and it's 500 degrees after sitting out in the Arizona sun all day. But I think just they feel a little cheap, and it would be nice if this was metal. Same thing here. Any of these little control surfaces, if they were metal, I think that would be better. The other thing that I really don't like that makes the interior, I believe, feel cheaper than it should. This truck is a Lariat, and maybe it's nicer on other ones, but this padding on the dash has stitching in it, so you'd think, oh, this is nice vinyl. No, this is just a padded piece of foam with fake stitching, a fake seam. I really just don't like fake. So if you're not going to put real vinyl with a real seam stitch in it, just don't make it look like it's that. Make it something else. I would not mind if this was just solid plastic, or if it was just a solid padded foam piece, but don't put that stitching in there if it's not the real deal. That's all I've got to say. Like this, that's real. There's nothing wrong with that. This, not so much. And one other bit of complaint that I have about this particular truck, and this is not for other 2021 F-150s, it's just the PowerBoost model specifically, is I don't feel that the hybrid mode is quite aggressive enough. I think they should really take advantage of having that electric motor on this thing and make that hybrid mode much more aggressive, in that it wants to run in full electric more often. I believe that's just sort of a missed opportunity, and maybe it has to do with the size of the electric motor or the size of the battery pack, and maybe they'll expand that in the future. And with the over-the-air updates these trucks have now, Ford can literally just flash that into the tune and you'll have that. So there's a possibility you might get that in the future. But I just think if you're going to have a hybrid F-150, it should be able to run in full electric mode longer and be able to kick in at higher speeds, things like that. As it sets now, it kicks in when you're doing like a steady 35, 45 miles an hour, it will run in full electric mode, just like down a 2-lane road. But it'll only do it for a minute or two, and then it kicks the engine back on. I think it just needs to have the ability to do that longer. Like I said, that's a small complaint, but to leave on a high note, my favorite thing about this truck has to be that it is no compromises. It is the most powerful F-150. It can tow, it's fast. It's actually probably the fastest version of the F-150. And you get all the generator modes and everything. You don't have to give up anything to get all that extra power and all that extra capability, except for the complexity of it. But you're not sacrificing performance anywhere. So I think that's probably my favorite thing, is Ford managed to do a lot with this truck without sacrificing its use as a truck. So unlike, say, a Prius or something like that, where you have to run pizza cutter tires to get the last little bit of fuel mileage out of it, with this truck, you're not getting that. This thing is F-150 to the core, just with more added capabilities. And honestly, I like this truck a whole lot more than I thought I was going to. I look forward to seeing how Ford progresses with the technology in the future, and it makes me look forward to getting my hands on the electric F-150 when that comes out. So until then, thanks guys for checking out these videos. This one is part of a full playlist. I'll put the link in the description below, and we've got a full article with all the videos embedded in it over on svtperformance.com. And you guys know that that is where you can go to get the latest news, reviews, and information on your favorite Ford powered vehicles.